Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Community and Cultural Committee. I declare the meeting open at 6:01 p.m. The council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which this meeting being held as that of the Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation. Apologies. Are there any apologies for tonight's?
Samuel Mead apology.
Sam and Mayor and
Councillor Samuel Mead.
yes. Any?
You just need a.
Okay,
Move
I
and second
moved by
Yeah, well, do I can second it.
Luke and second by Nick. Okay. Do we any,
Full house.
do we have any other apologies? No? Just one, right?
You can do that by group if you want, instead of calling out individual, you can just say all those in favour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye. Yes. Say no. Motion is carried. Staff and public are reminded that this meeting is being recorded for minute-taking purposes and is also being broadcast live to the public on council's website in accordance with Section 4 of the council's Code of Meeting Practice. The recording will be made available on council's website. The order of business is as shown in the agenda, which has been made available. Staff and public are reminded that this meeting is open. Doors to the meeting room are to be left open unless the meeting moves into a closed confidential session, according to Section 13 of the Code of Meeting Practice. Only if the meeting moves into a closed confidential session will the public broadcasting of the meeting be suspended. Council's Code of Meeting Practice prohibits the electronic recording of meetings without the express permission of council. Mobile phones must be turned to silent during the meeting. Does any councillors have any interest to declare? As far as I know, there isn't any, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, and tonight, there are no speaker registered tonight's meeting at the public forum. Then we go to confirmation of minutes of previous meetings. COM 032-22, confirmation of the meeting and the minutes of the previous Community and Cultural Committee meeting held on 11th of July, 2022. Can I call for a mover?
I'll move it.
Moved by Sam Speck, seconded by Councillor Leslie. Is it anyone if or for in?
Oh.
Oh, thank you. Anyone if against say no? I declare it's carried. Tonight we have two committee report. The first one, COM 023-22, Georges River Business Survey. Someone will
I'll
take
move
over
that,
it.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Lukinjaski, seconded by Nick Smedley. Yeah, can I have council staff to have a brief introduction for this report?
Sure.
Thank you, Carly.
So this report is just recommending that council note the findings of the recent business survey. And they also note that the findings will be used to inform the economic development strategy, which will be developed later this year. The results of the survey will also inform other initiatives that will be used in Small Business Month later in November. And some of the results will also be used for benchmarking for future surveys that will be done. Attached to the report is an analysis and summary of the survey results. But essentially the survey was conducted for businesses in our local government area. So there was a survey sent out to, emailed out to businesses registered through the ADR. We also presented the surveys at a number of small business events in March this year. It was out on the Leader and on Your Say and on social media channels, and we had about 277 businesses complete the survey and provide information. And through analysis of the results, we identified some key themes in how council can support businesses. And the themes that came out that are detailed in the report is sort of more business support and education for businesses, council fees and processes and infrastructure. And the report gives a bit more detail. There was a number of sort of questions asked around the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, and there was also some free format questions which provided a lot of insight for us as to how we can support businesses and the challenges and impacts that they're facing coming out of the pandemic. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah. Anyone have any questions?
Was there one particular type of business that was completed the surveys? Was it holidays or?
No, so in the results, the most highest respondents were other services, and the report or the attachment shows a variety of different businesses in other services. And when I looked at some of them, they probably fit into other categories. So there was no one specific business. Look, primarily small businesses, I would say. So for businesses with turnover of 75K or less was sort of the larger respondents of the survey. There were a significant amount of questions asked, and interestingly, they weren't all compulsory questions, but most businesses chose to answer most of the questions. Some questions were more data capturing for us, and then other questions were more geared towards the impacts of the pandemic and some of the challenges and concerns that businesses are facing sort of moving forward, and sort of support and requirements from council as to how we could support businesses.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one quick question, if that's okay. So what's your general sense of how they're bouncing back post-COVID?
Interestingly, 62% or thereabouts indicated being affected through the pandemic. But interestingly, about 50% of them seem positive about the future. Look, the majority of respondents were sole traders and home-based businesses. So something that was interesting for me is I would have thought we would have seen a larger increase of businesses move to online sales. It was only a marginal increase in that. And a lot of businesses seem to have not been impacted by staff resources, which I also thought was quite interesting. And yeah, the other thing I suppose that wasn't a surprise is a lot of them have concerns around the economic downturn, the cost of living, the general price of running their businesses and things like that, that I think they're just concerns for everyone at the moment, not specific to our local government area. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I might just add a little bit to that for Councillor Lansbury. I found through my work that businesses that were affected are bouncing back, but the only ones that, so when I say businesses, general businesses, but I think landlords are suffering in that a lot of businesses now are not renewing leases in total. So they might have a floor of building or 400, 500 square metres, but seeing that people are preferring to work from home, they're only renewing a portion of that area. So
That makes sense.
Downscaling the size of their business.
not
in terms of
downscaling outside their business, but
the square
the
metre
meters that they
yeah.
lease. So the business is still doing well and even better than before, but they're not needing the space that they used to need before. So some of them are going to online, not so much for sales, but for meetings, for everything except the sale component.
Yeah, there was a few businesses that reported pivoting their business, so obviously changing up some of the, I suppose, goods and services that they were offering. And whilst there had only been a small increase in online sales, there'd been a decrease in businesses that used to have no online sales that now have some sort of online trading. Yeah, not as much as I probably would have expected to see, but yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
Any other comments and questions? If not, I call for a vote. So all in favour, say aye. No, so okay. Carried. Thank you. The next one is the COM 034-22, adoption of Georges River Council's Social Justice Chapter
Madam
2022
Chair.
to 2026. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, councillors. Can I have our Sally to
Yeah, thank you. So
introduce?
this
Thank you.
report requests that council adopt the Social Justice Charter. It was on public exhibition recently for 28 days. So the Social Justice Charter was built around 4 principles of participation, equity, respect and empowerment. The principles were distilled from research and analysis of community consultation, of which there was quite extensive consultation done. The Charter supports human rights and enables capacity building and resilience, and it drives social change. I suppose for us, it's a pathway to achieving human rights by promoting fairness. Some people do experience disadvantage on a systemic level, and the idea of the Social Justice Charter is to remove barriers and to promote equity and fairness within the community. We have a diverse community with a complexity of needs. So I personally see the Social Justice Charter as a good news story and something quite needed and beneficial to the local government area.
Oh, thank you. Questions? Any
One
councillors?
quick question. Is this social justice charter fairly common amongst other local government areas? Like not this one in particular, but is it a fairly standard sort of document that people are moving towards?
I think people are, sorry, through you, Madam Chair, I think people are heading that way, but we are one of the first in terms of New South Wales. I know that Victoria were having some that we looked at and modelled off best practice, but instead of having, you know, a seniors, a youth, and having very targeted plans, this is a holistic approach that we can then use across council for the way we interact with the community.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good document. Very aspirational, but I think it's very timely. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I have a question. So how does this fit into the strategic, pillars of the council? And what sort of actions does it,
So through you, Madam Chair, there will be a action plan that comes out of this. This is just the overarching document. So in terms of the next steps, we will develop an action plan. It hits all of the pillars in the strategic plan, which is why it's so important to council's overall vision and direction, because it does really encompass everything that we do. It's more, an approach to dealing with the community as opposed to a strategy at this point. Yeah, that's.
Thank you. Any more comments and questions? If not, I call for a vote.
Yes.
So all in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Chair, please say no. I declare it's carried. I think that's all for tonight's report. So there being no other business on the agenda, I declare this meeting closed at 6:14 p.m. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, councillors.